My name is David Lee.
And my name is Elissa Weinzimmer, and we're here from Vibrant Voice Technique. And today we want to share with you an exercise from our technique that can help you with a warm-up and a cool-down. Now, it'd be helpful to explain what is Vibrant Voice Technique. The basic idea here is that we're using a vibrator to enhance the naturally occurring vibration of your voice and to release muscle tension as well as enhance the resonance of your voice. So, David, this was your idea. So can you share with us how you thought of it?
Well, it was a sort of one of those kind of serendipitous things that happens when you're working with somebody. An actor friend came to me. She had 3 important jobs lined up, and she'd lost her voice for approximately a month. She'd had a cold, but she was in a situation where she couldn't stop working. She was yelling, and so things just kind of locked up. Now, the first thing I did is I sent her to see her doctor because I wanted to make sure that there was nothing wrong there. And sure enough, they scoped it and there was nothing wrong with the folds, but there was just so much tension there. And I could feel that tension. When I put my hands on her larynx, I started doing a little massage, and sure enough, things loosened up, and we could start to hear that voice coming back. So that was great. And then I thought, well, good, I'll teach this to her, and she'll massage for her own larynx. And she put her hands down. She just couldn't do that. I was like, she couldn't stand that.
Yeah.
So I got to think, well, she can't come to my house every 3 hours for me to do a massage on her throat. What can I do that's going to help her be able to do something for herself? And so that was, I had one of those strange aha moments. And I thought, well, we use vibration to release tension in the shoulders. We use it, on big muscles of legs. Obviously, those kind of big vibrators that we use there we're not going to put those here. So I started thinking, well, what could we use? And then finally, it was sort of like, well, this is
sex toy.
Well, that's about the right size, in terms of the amount of energy that it gives, and the kind of range of frequencies and stuff like that. So that's where this started. It was a way to loosen off tension in the larynx. So I did this with her. She found it very effective. Her voice started to come back almost immediately. And then we started to explore how we could use it to actually increase resonance in the voice, how we could use it to explore tension, for releasing tension in the jaw. Gosh, for TMJ, people have, who grind.
Like me, yeah.
Well, it's amazing for that. So, so there's lots of other places that we've been, working in that whole kind of head, neck area, anywhere that kind of affects the voice, releasing tension that have been helping, and areas that we've been working in to enhance resonance as well.
Great. So Vibrant Voice Technique is actually a series of a bunch of different exercises that address all these things you're talking about, releasing muscle tension, enhancing resonance. Today we're going to teach one exercise for you that is specifically really useful for doing a warm-up and also a warm-down, which can be very important. So let's talk for a moment about why we do a warm-up, why we would do a warm-down or a cool-down, and how we can use the vibrator to help.
Well, most singers naturally kind of do that. Not all singers, and most singers find it an effective way for getting their voice to where they need it to be for performance. And in the same way that an athlete would, like you wouldn't go, sprinting in a race without kind of warming up those muscles first. For one thing, the warm-up actually helps prevent injury. It certainly does that for your leg. Why wouldn't it do that for your voice? And, research suggests that a good warm-up actually decreases the amount of recovery time. So that's important.
Yeah.
So what does a warm-up do? It gets the blood flowing.
Yeah.
Which allows that muscle to move more freely. So then you get into a little bit of gentle stretching of the muscle, which and then you get into sort of specific exercises that help develop neuromuscular connectivity, responsiveness in the muscle. Right. So you stretch it out. Then we want to make sure it's responsive.
Great. Okay, so if we're doing a warm-up, we're bringing blood flow into the area, we're increasing neuromuscular connectivity. So we can do that more quickly with the aid of something that's actually vibrating, right? Because a warm-up is helping us with movement, and this vibration essentially is movement, right? So we can use this for a warm-up or a cool down, right?
Yeah, well, especially for the early part of the warm-up. And there's lots of singers, people I know now who are using this. Many people I don't know are using this.
Yes.
With a little bit of information as a way to sort of just get this whole area loosened up, get the blood flow happening, get it kind of warmed up a little bit before they start doing their
regular
warm-up. And so the feedback I get is that it actually increases the efficacy of the warm-up in a really big way. They feel much more free, they have more range, all these things. So.
Great. So let's go ahead and share this exercise, and we'll go ahead and focus on the front of the neck is where we're going to be focusing today, right? Now we actually have a model we can take a look at. So if we go underneath our chin right here, where it's sort of muscly, we can feel that that actually is the muscles of the root of the tongue, right? So they come way down here, all the way down towards the hyoid bone, which is this floating bone in our body from which the larynx is then suspended. And we've got our larynx here in blue, right? Our cartilage there. So we're going to work in this whole area along the front of the throat. And what we're doing is all of these things you're talking about. We're encouraging length through these muscles, which is actually a lengthened muscle is a released muscle. We're encouraging blood flow through there. And really, what is vibration, right? Vibration is movement. It's movement on a small scale. And so we're encouraging movement of all of these tissues in and around the larynx, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the vibrator on to whatever speed feels comfortable for you. And we're going to lengthen the front of the neck by extending the chin upwards and just making sure that we're not crunching in the back of the neck, right? That can happen. So we want to just make sure that we're encouraging length through that whole area. And then we're going to gently draw the vibrator down along the front of the throat. So it'll be something like this. And I can start with just the muscles right up near the tongue and the hyoid bone. And then if I want to, I can start to extend the vibration down along the sides of the larynx. Yeah?
Yeah, so you might want to think of it as a bit like a shaving commercial. You see those guys with the electric shaver, you know? And you know, apply as much pressure as is comfortable and really feels like it's, you know, feel like it's stimulating the muscle. You probably, if you're coming down the front, you don't want to come right onto the front of that thyroid cartilage. You come down the
just not
sides.
comfortable.
So you stay, you know, around above the hyoid bone, the space underneath, and then you come down the sides. Really think, you know, like the guy who's, you know, shaving off those whiskers. And that's a nice way to think about it, and that will give you that notion that you're lengthening away from the point of vibration.
Right. And now what we can add to this exercise is also a little bit of vocalizing, right? And this encourages the muscles to engage exactly in the way that they will when we're creating sound, and encourages an economy of effort and that neuromuscular connectivity. So we're just going to do some gentle glides on a hum, something like just from top to bottom. So combining that all together, it'll look something like this.
Good, yeah, take your time. It's about gently warming up, you know, not about pushing things. If you start to warm up, you know, if you're going to warm up for some sort of athletic thing, you'd warm up lightly, slowly, and you'd gradually build intensity.
Absolutely. So you're going to do this at whatever speed feels comfortable for the length of time that feels useful to you. So as you're getting used to this, you may do it for a shorter amount of time, just a minute or so. You could do this for up to 5 minutes if that feels comfortable to you.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, it's like you want to use it as much as you need to use it to achieve what you're trying to get. And if you find that things are warm and released after a minute, then do a minute.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can start to play with is, you know, some gentle arpeggios. Any kind of vocalizing that you might do as part of your warm-up, you can add that into the mix as well.
Right, just switching notes a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, a little bit of whatever your exercise is going to be.
The other thing that this is helpful for is when you have a day when there's a note that doesn't seem to be quite there for you, and then what do? As soon as that happens, you start to think about your throat, right? And as soon as you think about your throat, you start to contract inwards to that place, and then we start to get that lock happening. And then the more you think about it, the more you lock, and the more you lock, the harder it is to achieve the thing you want to achieve. So we need to remember always, it's really about inviting a muscle to lengthen, right? If a muscle lets go, it's going to lengthen. So if we're thinking of lengthening, always lengthening away from the place where we're applying the vibration, then we're really, we're really maximizing the impact of the vibration in order to give us that great sense of release and openness.
Now, we should add that this can be a really useful tool as a standalone warm-up or cool-down, but it's also a really great thing to add into your already established regimen, right? So whatever you feel is useful to you, go ahead and follow that pathway, right? And if you find that this is not comfortable, then just go ahead and back off and pull away, right?
Well, the first thing, and with anything, if any new kind of exercise is, like it's perhaps not going to be for everybody. The first thing you can do is, play with just less intensity. So turn it down. Less time. But if it's something that you inherently feel uncomfortable with, then don't do it. Don't do it. And also,
which is true for anything.
Don't start to think that, like, I've got a sore throat. I woke up with a sore throat. This is going to fix it. No, a sore throat, that's your body saying there's something wrong here.
Take a break.
Take a break. Go see a doctor, especially if it's like a sudden onset of pain.
Yeah.
Then that's especially important.
Yeah, so this really is a tool for addressing the muscle tension in that area and encouraging release and
stimulating movement as
stimulating
well.
movement.
You apply that external vibration, and there's a lot more kind of jazz happening inside that whole laryngeal area.
Yeah, so we hope that this is a useful tool for you as an exercise. Please play around with it. Let us know how it goes. And if you have any questions about Vibrant Voice Technique, if you want to learn more about us, then you can visit us at www.vibrantvoicetechnique.com. We'd love to hear from you.